Welcome to Deep Thought. Bad things force evolution. Bad things force evolution. What do I mean by bad things? Whenever something negative happens to you, whether you get dis-ease, because that's what it should be called, whenever you are made to feel uncomfortable, it's not a good thing, is it? You feel bad, everything like that. It is a part, though I don't discuss specifically, getting ghetto there, specifically my particular spiritual beliefs. One of the beliefs I do have is that when bad things happen, it forces you to evolve, right? Now, think about it. How many people have come, or if you've known personally, probably even yourself, have come to a spiritual path because of how life was going for you, right? And it's like all of a sudden, it's like, boom, right? Or how many people have maybe joined the gym because, you know, the doctor say, hey, you can die from this diabetes or this high blood pressure, right? How many people have been fired from a job and then end up finding their dream thing? See, one of the things that happens is human beings are predisposed to being comfortable, even if it's comfortable in some bullshit, right? Even if it's a bad situation, you get used to it, right? You know, you got bad living arrangements. You don't like the neighborhood you're in. You don't like your circumstances, but you get used to them, and to the point that you even get comfortable with it. Like, I've known people to be in some bad conditions. They'll say, oh, yeah, it's all right. It's all right I don't have a regular bed to sleep on. It's all right that my car breaks down every 3 days. It's all right I have to go, 10 miles to work, regardless of the weather, just taking a bus that's unreliable. All of that stuff is cool, right? All that stuff is cool. People get comfortable with it. But say something happens. That job they gotta go through so much rigmarole to get through, they get fired from. Or that job that they've been comfortable on, all of a sudden it gets a different manager and that manager don't like you. Right? Or, people get hot, you get new people, they get hostile. Or the neighborhood you live in, it was already bad, but then it gets worse. Right? But you were comfortable there. But all of a sudden you uncomfortable. See, people, it's my belief that, I'll say the supreme power, because as you know, I respect all spiritual paths, right? All spiritual paths. And one of my beliefs is it's streams leading to the ocean, right? No one is better than the other, because people argue that all day. But it's my belief when you have these obstructions, it's my belief that when bad things happen, it's telling you you need to dig deep and do something different. Now, I just spoke on maybe my business channel about one time, particularly after my separation, right? About 2013, 5 years ago. I got a place. I couldn't afford a mattress. I mean, I could have brought a bed along, honestly, but I didn't want to bring that particular bed, right? It was old and springs were bad. I was like, shit, forget it, right? So for maybe 2 years, I was sleeping on an air mattress. But being uncomfortable with that, and money was tight, being uncomfortable with that actually has me now where I'm speaking with you. Because all of a sudden, it was like, okay, this ain't going to work. Where I'm working is not going to take me to a further level, right? It wasn't built that way, right? Jobs are disappearing. It's being automated. What can I do? It was like, hey, use the talent you have. God, or supreme, we'll say God. Supreme, I'll say supreme power. The supreme power said, well, dude, I gave you all this talent. You need to use it. Right? You studied all this knowledge. Why don't you go share that with some people? All right? All of a sudden, I had to evolve. One, because I was hungry. Let's just be real. Like, you know what? Some wise sage one time said, you know, people make political decisions based on how much food is in their stomach. And it's actually true. If you think about it, like I can predict who will win the election, not now, but whatever the state of the economy is when people actually go to vote. If it's a bad economy, we get a Democratic president. If all of a sudden it's prosperous, well, we got 4 more years of that dude. So, you know, people, when it's comfortable, they stay with it. When it's uncomfortable, they make a change. And most people, they won't make a change unless they're forced to. So that's actually a good thing. Whenever something bad happens to you, I want y'all to think about it. Whenever something bad, you get uncomfortable, that's telling you to bring out your talents. Now, one of the things I talk with anybody who talk with me privately, I always ask, like, hey, okay, what is it you want to do? What's your purpose? What would you rather be doing other than this job you complaining about? And people, they give me some stuff, and I be like, hey, you can make some money with it. But you know what? They comfortable where they at. They're comfortable. They know where it is. They know if they show up to this job, they hate the job's guts, but they take comfort in knowing they'll get a paycheck every week or every 2 weeks from this job, and they can pay bills and everything. And it's a known quantity. You know you're going to get paid. You know you can halfway sleepwalk on the job. Even though if they were to evolve, use their talents, get better, they'd make 3 times the money they were making. And sometimes that has to happen. So that job they comfortable on, they get fired, or, you know, like I said, it gets too, it's not worth it to stay on it. Boom. You forced to get out there and do some stuff. But then at the end, you look back and say, you know, that's the best thing that ever happened. Like I talk to a lot of people who are fairly successful. When I say successful, I don't mean in terms of a millionaire. Somebody could be successful and they only making $50,000, but depending on their bills, that's not a lot of money. And it depends on where you live in this country. You can live in some decent places for less money, right? So you sitting there and you just like, they successful, they happy and everything. They might have to leave. Or, you know, that could happen in relationships. A lot of people stay in bad relationships because the person they dealing with is a known quantity. They jacked up. They ain't compatible. But you look up and you know what you're dealing with, right? You know what you're dealing with. So what happens is, you know, sometimes you might have to break up from that person, and it hurts at first. Trust me, it hurts at first. You know, I've been there. Everybody been there. It hurts. But then you open up to the right person, right? It forces you, it forces you to look at yourself, right? Using the relationship example again, it forces you to look at yourself. And in fact, some spiritual people had shared with me of different faith traditions that shared to me relationships are spiritual. They force evolution. Like people will change and evolve because of a bad relationship more so than anything else. So, you know, you could get out that bad relationship. People usually go one or two ways. They either just go down and get depressed because they're still stuck in that relationship, or the other person. Or here's a better example one spiritual leader used. He said, you know, a woman could break up from a man. The other one gets real depressed, right? Loses everything, really goes down in the dumps. The other one writes a song about it, becomes a millionaire. Right? Yeah, that's pretty much the whole country music genre. You know, so those songs are like sad. I'm like, you know what? Somebody making money off of this. Or the blues. I mean, somebody took all those jacked up. You listen to those blues songs. They are not triumphant songs. It's some jacked up stuff. But somebody took all that and made money off of it, right? Bad things. But they were forced. They used their talent. They dealt with it. You know, you could write a book about your bad situation, how you overcame it, become a millionaire. But they force your evolution. It forces you to get out your comfort zone. It forces you to look into yourself and find what you have, because that's the greatest journey. If you can dig into who you are and pull out what's already there, what the supreme power gave to you, boom, boom. So I want y'all to think about that. Bad things force evolution, but that's actually a good thing. So anyway, that's all I have for y'all today. Something to think about. Peace and blessings.